Hindi may pagkakaila na meron talagang mga taong sukdulan ang kailang galit sa Islam. So, na lamang ng isang lalaking aking ibabahagi sa inyo ngayon. Siya ay isang politician, Dutch national o di kaya taga-Netherlands. Siya si 𝒉𝒕𝒊-𝒂𝒏. Ang isang taong sukdulan ang pagkamuhi at pagkagalit sa Islam. Ginamit niya ang lahat, ang kanyang kapangyarihan, ang kanyang kaalaman upang hadlangan ang Islam. Sapagkat para sa kanya ang Islam ay evil ideology. Ang katuruan nito ay puro bayolente at delikado sa kanyang bansa at sa buong mundo. Panoorin natin ang video nito.
My name is 𝒉𝒕𝒊 and I'm a former member of the Dutch Parliament who represented the Party for Freedom, the anti-Islamic nationalist party of Geert Wilders. For years, I gave everything I had to fight against Islam. I tried to make legislation to shut down all Islamic schools in the Netherlands. I attempted to close all mosques, ban the Quran and ban Islam altogether from the Netherlands. As a Dutch politician, I opposed Islam in every way possible. Then, in 2017, I left Parliament and finally had the time to fulfill a long-held desire to write an anti-Islam book. I wanted a book that would provide conclusive theoretical groundings for all of the objections I held against Islam as a politician. My book would settle the dispute about Islam with a clear conclusion. Islam is a danger to Europe, to America, to the West, and actually to the whole wide world.
Pero alam niyo ba, sa kabila ng kanyang pagkamuhi, sukdulan na pagkaayaw, pagkagalit sa Islam at ginawa niya ang lahat ng paraan upang hadlangan ito hanggang sa siya ay gumawa ng batas at gumawa ng anti-Islam book. Ito naman ang naging daan upang pag-aralan niya ang doktrina o ang katuruan ng Islam. At nung ito ay kanya napag-aralan ang katuruan ng Islam, naging kabaliktaran ang lahat. Ang pagkamuhi at sukdulan na pagkaayaw sa Islam, ang Islam ngayon ang pinakamalaking regalo sa kanyang buhay sapagkat ang Islam kanyang tinanggap bilang kanyang pananampalataya. Sila ay nagpaplano laban sa Islam, pero ang Allah, ang dakilang Panginoon, ay mayroon din siyang plano na ang kanyang plano ay higit na mas mainam at mabuti kaysa sa plano ninuman. At ang Allah, siya ang nagbabali-baliktad ng ating mga puso. Ngayon, ang Islam ay kanyang niyakap bilang kanyang pananampalataya at iniwan niya ang dati niyang paniniwala. Ano ba ang kanyang paniniwala dati ni 𝒉𝒕𝒊 bago niya niyakap ang Islam? Panoorin natin kanyang video.
How was your life in regards to faith? What did you believe in?
I was a Protestant Christian from the Reformed Church. We read from the Bible, we all got biblical names, we were all baptized, we went to church, etc., etc. So we're pretty Christian in that way, in that sense. Of course, I believed that there is a creator, I believed in heaven, hell, I believed in angels, revelations, and of course what separates the Christians from the Muslims is that I believed that Jesus Christ was the Son of God. Yeah, in a more philosophical way, I believed he was God himself, of course. I believed in the resurrection and crucifixion of Christ, of course, and I believed in the atonement. But because the Trinity is a very complex concept, whether you believe it or not, it's still very complex. The Trinity is a very complex concept, whether you believe it or not, it's still very complex, because if there is a God in the Bible, it says God is eternal. But if you are eternal and in the same you die, you cannot cannot be eternal, immortal at the same time. So that was something when I was a little older, 16, 17, I started questioning things like that. It's not very logical. I talked to many priests, preachers, even rabbis, and the answers I got weren't very satisfying. That made it for me kind of complex, and in the end I had some doubts about stuff like this, but I said, well, I set it aside and I thought, okay, I just believe it, and perhaps I'm not smart enough to get the whole picture. And I still believed in God. I still believed that Jesus was a very important person. I believed he was the Son of God, but how it exactly was, I left it for what it was.
Siya ay isang Protestant Christian. Kaya't ngayon, ano ba ang dahilan na nagtulak sa kanya upang tanggapin ang Islam bilang kanyang panampalataya sa kabila ng kanyang pagkamuhi, sukdulan na pagkagalit sa Islam? Panoorin natin kanyang video.
Because I wanted to show people why Islam was a danger as a religion, and I wrote it from a Christian perspective. So in the beginning, I made a comparison between the Christian concept of God and the Islamic concept. So I started comparing it. But because I had these doubts about the Trinity, and I saw Tawhid, the oneness of God in Islam, I thought, yeah, it sounds a little bit more logical. And then I thought to myself, well, I reread the Bible to see, to refresh myself, to see, okay, why isn't the concept of Islam, the Tawhid concept, isn't the Christian concept? But when I was reading the Old Testament and I saw what the Old Testament prophets said, it was one God, one God, one God. And then I thought, okay, I'll look only at the words of Jesus Christ in the New Testament. And then there's this story in the New Testament where a guy comes to Jesus and he asks him, what is the most important thing in life? How can I gain paradise? And he says, there are two things. He says, hear, O Israel, hear, your God is one. Treat your neighbor as you want to be treated yourself. So I thought, well, even Jesus Christ says, hear, O Israel, your God is one. So I thought, well, this whole Muslim concept of God sounds more logical, and it's the same concept that I find in the Old and the New Testament. And I know Christianity as a religion teaches something else, but it isn't the concept of God that I find in the Bible. So after weeks and weeks of study, reading, rereading all kinds of books, I thought to myself, okay, perhaps this oneness of God is something that is true. So that's how it started.
So yun ang dahilan kung bakit siya yumakap sa Islam. Dahil sa tauhid o di kaya paniniwala, doktrina sa oneness of God, yung kaisahan ng Panginoong Diyos. Sapagkat ang katuruan na ito, yung tauhid na ito, na doktrina ng Islam, pagkilala sa nag-iisang Diyos, ay yun mismo ang turo ni Jesus sa loob ng Bible. At nakatitiyak ako, sa karamihan ng mga tunay ang kailang pagyakap sa Islam ay ang dahilan ay dahil dito. Dahil sa paniniwala sa isang Diyos. Hindi natin may pagkakaila na meron at meron talagang mga tao sukdulan ang galit nila sa Islam. Pero ang payo natin sa kanila ay pag-aralan muna nila ito. Hanapan nila ng kamalian ang Islam. Kung mayroon silang mahanap na kamalian sa Islam, ipakita nila sa mga taong may alam sa Islam. Pangalawa, pag-aralan nila ang turo ng Islam hinggil sa doktrina ng pagkilala sa Diyos. At tiyak ako na pag inyong napag-aralan ang doktrina sa pagkilala sa Diyos dito sa Islam, kung kayo ay may alam sa Bible, maalaala ninyo ang katuruan ni Jesus hinggil sa pagkilala sa nag-iisang Diyos. Sapagkat ang katuruan ni Jesus hinggil sa pagkilala sa nag-iisang Diyos dito sa Islam ay walang pinagkaiba. Sapagkat malinaw ang sinabi ni Jesus na siya ay isinugo sa bayan ng Israel at tinuruan niya ang Israel na sumamba lamang at kumilala sa nag-iisang tagapaglikha. At sa Quran, sinabi ni Jesus, Inna Allah Rabbi wa Rabbukum fa'budu hadha siratul mustaqim. Sinabi ni Jesus sa kanyang malapit na pakahulugan, binanggit niya Allah sa Quran. Sinabi niya, ang Allah ang aking Panginoon at inyong Panginoon, sambahin niyo siya, na siyang nag-iisa, at ito ang matuwid na daan. ito ang matuwid na landas. Yun lang po. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.